Hello and welcome back to Be a Loser. So you want to lose weight and keep it off. Who doesn't, right? But if you're like me and many other people, then you've probably tried dieting, portion control, and exercise to only fail over and over and over again to maintain long-term weight loss. And if you've tried and failed long enough, then you've probably come to the conclusion that you're just one of the unlucky people who cannot affect long-term weight loss. You'll just have to be okay with being fat for the rest of your life, right? Whether this ongoing weight gain and weight loss battle has only begun later in life, or you've been struggling all of your life with weight, there actually is help. And almost no one has to accept being overweight, obese, or even diabetic type 2. The problem is in how healthcare professionals view weight gain and weight loss, and thus the advice they're giving you is incorrect. Let's be honest, it's just flat out wrong and misinformed. More often than not, weight gain and an inability to keep it off is not a failing of willpower, but instead a flaw in the way you're told to go about losing weight. Weight gain and obesity are dietary diseases. Doctors are trained to treat disease with drugs and surgery. They're not trained in nutrition. And try as they might, they cannot ultimately control a dietary disease with drugs and/or surgery. So in this series, I'll explain the simple changes you can make to finally lose that weight, keep it off, and get a lot healthier along the way. So let's jump in the deep end and start by examining what causes weight gain and why all diets are doomed to fail. The information in this series, as well as the majority of the videos on my channel, comes from Dr. Jason Fung's blog at intensivedietarymanagement.com. Also in this series, I'm going to gloss over a lot of the science behind most of my statements, but you can watch my other series and videos for a much deeper understanding of weight gain and obesity, as well as a much richer experience in general. And finally, the channel is doing an Amazon gift card giveaway, which I'll explain at the end of the video, so be sure to watch to the end for that. So, how do we lose weight and keep it off? The best way to understand that is to have a true understanding of how we gain weight. I have an entire series on that if you'd like to watch it. Just follow the little card up there. Or you can head over to Dr. Fung's blog and read through his monumental 50+ posts on the subject. But cutting to the chase, almost all weight gain and loss is controlled by one hormone in our body, insulin. Insulin causes us to gain weight, so obviously the key to losing weight is to lower insulin. That's it. Notice I didn't say lower calories eaten or exercise more or lower carbohydrate intake or lower fat intake, right? Because it's insulin that causes weight gain. Obesity is not a caloric imbalance. It's a hormonal imbalance. It's caused by too much insulin in the body, so the proper way to treat it, and quite honestly the most obvious, is to lower insulin. So how do we do that? Well, it's not super easy. It's not just reducing calories or reducing carbs or cutting out sugar or exercising more or eating cleaner. There are two main components that lead to increased insulin levels. The first one is the most obvious: what we eat. This is the factor that everyone seems to focus on. Seriously, go look on the internet right now for weight loss, and it's all about cut this food or add that food to lose weight. And to a degree, this does help. Some foods raise insulin levels. Other foods help protect from high insulin levels. The problem is that this is not the only factor when it comes to raising insulin levels. We've forgotten this factor in our obsession with what we eat. Most people probably don't even know what this second factor is. Go ahead, see if you can think of it. And the answer is insulin resistance. Anyone get that right? The higher your insulin resistance, the higher your insulin levels will rise. It's totally separate from the foods that you eat. Now, the devious part of insulin resistance is that it's very slow to develop. Generally, people will only gain weight at a rate of 1 to 2 pounds per year, and thus only become obese after decades. This is related to a question that we've forgotten to ask ourselves for so long, the question of when to eat. But since most people are very focused on that first question, what to eat, let's go ahead and start with that and a bit of an overview. Believe it or not, all diets do work. Whether you follow calorie counting, low carb, low fat, paleo, vegan, Mediterranean, Whole30, carnivore, potato, they'll all help you lose weight. Now, some more than others, but all will seem to work at first. And that's the key, at first. And while all these diets work, they also all fail. Whether the diet itself fails or whether it fails due to lack of compliance because of its restrictive nature. After 6 months to a year, the weight loss plateaus and then begins an unrelenting weight regain that thwarts even the most determined of efforts. Does that sound familiar? Sure, some people can maintain the weight loss for longer, but the overwhelming majority see this all too familiar pattern. The reason for this initial weight loss, inevitable plateau, and then weight regain is because of how the body controls weight. Contrary to popular thinking, the body controls weight like a thermostat. There's a point at which the body weight is set. Dr. Fung refers to this as the body set weight point. When we change what we eat, we assume that this set weight point will be lowered and we will affect long-term weight loss. However, while we may be eating the right foods for weight loss, we've only addressed one of the two factors controlling weight, and thus insulin levels remain high and the set weight point remains unaffected. Even the much touted low-carb, high-fat diet succumbs to this in roughly the same amount of time as all other diets. This natural resistance to weight loss is due to the body's homeostatic nature, meaning the body attempts to remain stable and will resist external changes. Changing our diet is one such change, and because we did not reset the set weight point, the body forces us to put back the weight that we initially lost. This body set weight point is controlled by the hypothalamus in the brain. Insulin causes the set point to be raised higher. When we change our diet, we lose weight. However, once that weight drops below the set point, the body initiates mechanisms to once again increase the weight back to, and often above, the set point. If you want to think of this in a real-world application, you can think of the air conditioner in a home. Let's suppose that you have two friends, Isaac and David. Isaac sets the temperature on the thermostat to 64 Fahrenheit. After a while, you get too cold. So David plugs in a space heater to warm things up. And for a while, it works. But then the house air conditioner turns on and makes the house too cold again. So David buys a different space heater, plugs it in, and it works for a while to warm things up. And once again, the AC turns on and makes things too cold. This cycle continues. Every heater that David buys works, but ultimately the house wins and makes things too cold. All the while, Isaac is sitting doing nothing. No one can figure out how to get him to turn down the thermostat. Now, if we think of that situation in terms of weight, Isaac is insulin and David is diet. Insulin acts on the brain to set the thermostat, in biological terms the lipostat, to high, thus leading to weight gain, obesity, prediabetes, and diabetes type 2. Changing our diet allows for short-term weight loss. All diets work. However, they don't address the set point, and ultimately the body wins and weight is regained. All diets fail. Diet doesn't address the long-term problem of weight gain, insulin resistance. Our dietary change has little to no effect on this, and so the body tries to return to that previous weight controlled by the set point. First, hunger is increased in an attempt to make us eat more. This is accomplished through hormonal signals and is beyond our ability to control and not some lack of willpower. If that fails, then the body decreases total energy expenditure. This means that less energy is used by the body, causing us to feel tired and cold. Most people know this lowering of energy expenditure by another name: slowed metabolism. As the metabolism is slowed or decreased, it becomes harder and harder to lose weight. Ultimately, in nearly all cases, the body wins, and we begin to regain the weight. So as we can see, the short-term question to weight loss is what to eat, and the long-term question to weight loss is when to eat. Both are important, and both must be addressed in order to lose weight and keep it off. So continuing through this series, we'll start with the first question, what to eat, and give some guidance as to what foods are best and what foods to avoid. Then we'll move on to the larger question of when to eat. So be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to be alerted when those videos post. Now, if you liked the video, please click the like button, as it does help me out. And as for the aforementioned giveaway, every 2,500 new subscribers, I'll be giving away a $25 Amazon gift card. The next milestone is at 12,500, where I'll give away one gift card. At 15,000, I'll give away 2 cards. At 17,500, I'll give away 3 cards. And at 20,000, I'll give away 4 cards. Then we'll start over again. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel and leave a like and a comment on this video. It's that simple. It's just my way of saying thanks to everyone out there who has supported me, this information, and my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep being a loser.